precisely 6:45. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. News edited by Jay Ogaraj and read by Sharifa Tahir. Headlines. The schools from grade 6 to 12, except in the isolated areas, will reopen today. Some isolation areas in Colombo and Gampa district will be lifted from today. The decision will be in effect from 5 a.m. this morning. Special office train schedule from today. The committee stage debates on the budget proposal will commence today. The development activities which were affected badly during the previous government have been restored back to normalcy by the present government. News overseas, U.S. election 2020, Trump ally urges him to accept defeat in U.S. vote. In sports, Daniil Medvedev fought back to beat U.S. Open champion Dominic Thiem and win the biggest title of his career at the ATP Finals. Local news in detail. Schools will be monitored for a period of 1 week after they reopen today, says the Secretary to the Ministry of Education, Professor Kapila Pereira. It was recently decided that schools will reopen from November 23rd for grades 6 to 13. However, this decision does not apply to schools in isolated areas and the Western Province. Accordingly, 5,637 schools will reopen for the third term, and when inquired on who would take the responsibility if COVID-19 clusters emerge from schools, he said, "I will definitely have to take that responsibility on behalf of the government." He added, it was reported that all schools in the north could be open. The provincial director of the Eastern Province said all schools except for 5 are prepared to reopen. Western Province has also requested that they will be allowed to open schools as well. The Army Commander, Lieutenant General Shavendra Silva, stated that some isolation areas in Colombo and Gampa district will be lifted from today. The decision will be in effect from 5 a.m. this morning. Boralla, Vallampitiya, Colombo Fort and Slave Island police areas in the Colombo district will be reopened in this manner. However, the Vakanda Grama Niladari division in the Slave Island police area and Vanathamulla Grama Niladari division in the Boralla police area will continue to remain in isolation. Isolation orders on 13 more police areas in the Colombo district will be in effect until further notice. In addition, the isolation on Jayala and Kadavatta police areas in Gampa district will also be lifted today. 5 more police areas in the Gampa district will continue to remain isolated until further notice. The areas which will remain under isolation until further notice are Colombo District, Matakulia, Modara, Grand Pass, Blumendal, Kotahena, Fort Shaw, Adiripu Street, Dam Street, Peta, Keselvatta, Maligavatta, Dematagoda and Maradana police areas. And in the Gampa District, Nigambu, Vattala, Palayagoda, Ragama and Kalaniya police areas. Arrangements have been made to operate special office trains from today, the Railway Department said. However, the trains will bypass railway stations in isolated areas, the department said. This will be operated under strict health guidelines issued by the government. Trains on the main line will operate from Colombo Fort to Polgavala, Rambukkana, Kandy, Ganevatta and Mahava stations. Trains will not stop at these stations. Maradana, Dematagoda, Kalaniya, Banavasala, Horape, Ragama, Valpala and Batuatta. Trains on the Chilaw line will operate from Colombo Fort to Chilaw and Puttalam stations. Trains will not stop at these stations. Maradana, Dematagoda, Kalaniya, Banavasala, Horape, Ragama, Peralanda, Kurana, Nigambu, Katua. Trains on the Kalani Valley line will operate from Colombo Fort to Koskama, Avisavela stations. Trains will not stop at the Maradana and Baseline stations. Meanwhile, the trains on the coastal line will operate from Colombo Fort to Panadura, Kalutara, South, Alutkama, Hikkadua, Gaul, Matara, Beliatta stations. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation giving you the news.
A giant interest rate for your fixed deposit that you deposit this month. Enjoy special interest rates based on deposit amount and the government security. Call 0718 800 999.
Continuing with more stories here at home, Media Minister Kehali Rambukwala, attending the Ministerial Consultative Committee on Mass Media on Saturday, had stated that a proper mechanism for the regulation of local websites is needed and will be implemented within the next 2 weeks. Education Minister Professor J.L. Piri said that a new law has been passed in Singapore to control such matters, and having studied such laws, the formulation of a new mechanism should be made. Minister Rambukwala stressed that the Press Council Act should be amended in a way that would protect the dignity of the citizens. He also said that the rights of all citizens should be protected by the media. The minister also pointed out that defamation, which is unjust, should have some control and that media regulation is required. Speaking at the event, MP Professor Charita Herat said that having discussed the amendments to the Press Council Act at the Ministerial Consultative Committee on Mass Media would make its progress more convenient. He also said that a proper mechanism should be formulated to regulate television and radio broadcasts as well. Minister of Education Professor G.L. Piri stated that it is convenient to refer the relevant amendments to the Legal Drafting Committee after having it referred by the Ministerial Consultative Committee. That came to you on Local News.
An important announcement from HDFC Bank. A giant interest rate for your fixed deposit that you deposit this month. Enjoy special interest rates based on deposit amount and the government security. Call 0718 800 999. HDFC.
A mother knows the pain of each member of the family. Siddhalepa, the trusted relief for aches and pains.
An effective therapy for relief from cold, sneezing, flu, headaches, swelling due to toothaches, rheumatic, discomforts, and muscular aches and pains. Siddhalepa, the Vidya Mahatmya in every home.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vidya Mahatmya.
The committee stage debates on the budget proposal will commence today. Leader of the House, Minister Dinesh Gunawardena, says today's committee stage debate will focus on the budget reallocation on 25 institutions, including Presidential Secretariat, Prime Minister's Office, Parliament, and independent commissions. These debates will be conducted till the 10th of December. On the same day at 5 p.m., the vote on third and final reading of the budget will take place. It should be noted that Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa, in the capacity of Finance Minister, presented the budget proposals 2021 on the 17th of this month.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vidya Mahatmya. Brush your teeth twice a day for healthy teeth and gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, your trusted brands in oral care for many years.
Supiriviki Ayurvedic toothpaste for adults. Kakulu Ayurvedic toothpaste for kids. 9 Ayurvedic ingredients of Supiriviki will protect your teeth and strengthen your gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, products from Siddhalepa.
And on Watchlat, the commuters and long-distance passengers complain that they do not get enough and sufficient public transport services after 7 p.m. in the main cities, including Colombo. As a result, the commuters, especially long-distance passengers, face immense difficulties. Sometimes they have to wait for long hours to catch a bus. This is for the attention of the Western Province Passenger Transport Authority. Headlines of the world news. U.S. election 2020, Trump ally urges him to accept defeat in U.S. vote. Australia state reopens border after COVID cases plummet. Pakistan opposition seeks end to Imran Khan's puppet rule. World news in detail. A prominent ally of Donald Trump has urged him to drop his efforts to overturn his loss to Joe Biden in the U.S. presidential election. Former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie called the president's legal team a national embarrassment. President Trump has refused to concede the election, making unsubstantiated claims of widespread electoral fraud. Many Republicans have supported his legal efforts, but a small but growing number have broken ranks. The Australian state of New South Wales is to reopen its border with neighbouring Victoria for the first time since July after coronavirus cases there fell to zero. Victoria, which imposed a tough lockdown after a surge in cases, has reported no new infections since the beginning of November. The state is also relaxing its rules on wearing face masks. Australia has recorded about 900 deaths and 28,000 infections in total. Finally, on world news, opposition parties in Pakistan are keeping up the pressure on Imran Khan, holding a series of mass protests against his government. They allege the Prime Minister came to power in 2018 elections backed by the military. Protesters have demonstrated in the city of Peshawar despite a government threat to ban gatherings to curb rising coronavirus cases. That's on world news. Moving on to development news. Minister Prasanna Ranatunga says the development activities which were interrupted badly during the previous government have been restored back to normal by the present government. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa has implemented many rural development programs and road development projects since taking office in November 2019. Minister Prasanna Ranatunga also stated that the president initiated a special project of carpeting the rural roads in each electorate. The project was commenced recently and carried out in a successful manner, he added. We move on to sports news now. Tennis. Daniil Medvedev fought back to beat US Open champion Dominic Thiem and win the biggest title of his career at the ATP Finals in London. The Russian dug deep to claim a 4-6, 7-6, 6-4 victory over world number 3 Thiem at the O2 Arena. Thiem led the second set tie break, but Medvedev reeled off 7 points in a row to force a decider and came through a tight final set to ensure victory.
Empower your dreams with NSV Wings. NSV Wings. Recharge the high goals.
Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money.
The Export Development Board says it is pleased to see an export-focused budget which will support strong export growth led by investment, value addition and maximizing Sri Lankan natural resources. And this is a pivotal change in Sri Lanka's growth strategy which will be led by the exporters. Moreover, EDB held budget proposals to establish a modern investment zone for local and foreign private investors under the Strategic Development Act and ICT parks at Galle, Kurunegala, Anuradhapura, Kandy and Battikal. They welcomed investment of 10 billion rupees to develop these parks as eco-friendly new cities connected to the expressway network and other infrastructure facilities.
Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money.
The wait is over and it's time for you to experience happiness. It's time to remap the graph for success. It's time to rebuild your empire. It's time to initiate your entrepreneur dreams. Empower your dreams with NSV Wings. Get your 2-year personal loan for just 7% per annum, starting from 500,000 rupees to 10 million rupees. All you need is just one guarantee. NSV Wings. Recharge the high goals.
Economic news, courtesy of
Just move on real time, save more, LOLC real time. Paying the premium for transactions, simply save now real time. Day night, no trouble for your transactions, LOLC real time. Download LOLC Finance real time app for your LOLC savings account. Attractive interest rates, transactions anytime, anywhere with a zero cost and more benefits.
Rigid Tyre Corporation Private Limited, built with an investment of $250 million is slated for opening in mid-January 2021. The state-of-the-art, fully integrated manufacturing plant was visited by Minister of Industries Vimal Veeravansa last week for a special inspection. The construction of Phase 1, with an investment of $100 million has completed, while Phase 2 will be completed by mid-March 2022. The landmark project is the first and only of its kind in Sri Lanka and is tipped to be the largest such facility in the whole of Southeast Asia, manufacturing passenger car radials, including specialized category for SUVs, two-wheelers, three-wheelers, trucks, buses and solitaires, seamlessly combining local talent with sophisticated European technology.
Congratulations on your promotion. When will be our treat, huh?
How about today?
Oh no, I was just joking.
It's fine. I have my LOLC credit card with me. Let's go out today.
Introducing LOLC Finance Credit Cards. Fuel the goodness in you.
And on the weather update, the Met Department says a low pressure area over Southeast Bay of Bengal expected to intensify further into a depression during next 36 hours. It is likely to move west-northwards towards eastern and northern coasts of Sri Lanka on the 24th of November. Showers or thunder showers will occur at times in eastern, northern and north central provinces. Very heavy falls above 150 millimeters are likely at some places. Several spells of showers will occur in western and Sabaragamu provinces and in Puttlam, Galle and Mathura districts. Very strong gusty winds up to 60 to 70 kilometers per hour can be expected in eastern, northern and north central provinces. Strong gusty winds 40 to 50 kilometers per hour elsewhere. General public is kindly requested to take adequate precautions to minimize damages caused by strong winds. This weather report was published at 7:30 p.m. last night. Further details could be obtained by visiting the official website of the department. Back to the headlines before we wind up the morning bulletin of news. The schools from grades 6 to 12, except in the isolated areas, will reopen today. Some isolation areas in Colombo and Gampa district will be lifted from today. The decision will be in effect from 5 a.m. this morning. Special office train schedule from today. The committee stage debates on the budget proposal will commence today. Development activities, which were affected badly during the previous government, have been restored back to normal by the present government. And on news overseas, on US election 2020, Trump ally urges him to accept defeat in US vote. In sports, Daniil Medvedev fought back to beat US Open champion Dominic Thiem and win the biggest title of his career at the ATP Finals. With that, we conclude the morning bulletin of news.